What's up? I'm Maya Washington, and this is Grownish, the Kickback, the place to be if you want to talk to the talented people that help put the show together. Today, I'm here with Diggy Simmons, who plays Doug, Chloe and Halle Bailey, who play Jazz and Sky, writer Ritza Bloom, and executive producer Jenny Henry. In this episode, we saw Zoey give the twins a brand new look, which had its pros and its cons. But this time around, we want to flip the script and have you guys play the role of stylist, okay? So I'm gonna list some items, and you're gonna tell us whether to keep it or ditch it.
Okay.
Ready? Okay. Bucket hats.
I think unless you're LL Cool J and you licking the lips, I don't need to see you in bucket.
Oh!
I need to see a young LL. Yeah, totally.
So keep in one ditch. Biker shorts.
I'm with the biker short.
You can keep those. I don't have those.
Logoed out everything designer.
No. Swipe left.
Yeah, that's
Corny.
Yeah. At all?
Like Vivek, like if it's like
no,
all
not all of
it.
Too much.
Okay, enough about fashion. Let's dive into the show. Throughout the series, we've seen Jazz and Sky battle like their squeaky clean image thanks to their dad. What were you trying to communicate with this episode, Ritza?
I think we just live in such an amazing time with social media because people at any age can take control of their brand and introduce themselves to the world in a really large, kind of cool way. And I think it's awesome watching these characters use that as a tool to get their business right, get their brand right, and really announce who they want to be outside of the sports and the track and their families and all that. It's a rebranding. I think it's super fun and relevant.
Chloe and Halle, how do you both relate to your characters in terms of the pressure to dial up the sex?
You know, I think as the young woman, every young woman kind of probably has a moment where they feel as though they compare themselves to other women on social media, and they think that, oh, because this person looks this way, then maybe I should do that. But it's something that comes with social media where you have to just realize that your truest self is just as amazing, that you're just as beautiful. So I think that our characters, as well as our true selves, really went through that and realizing that what we are is enough.
Where do you draw the line between what you think is empowering and what you think is degrading?
It's complicated because I know for me personally, as a professional and as a woman, I think people expect you to, in some ways, lose your sexuality or ignore your sexuality. And so I know we had an interesting conversation in the room, even when we were breaking the episode about, why when it comes to women, why sexuality and professionalism or being an athlete or what you do, why it feels like those things have to be mutually exclusive and they're not. But at the same time, I'm like, we're so multi-layered that it feels slightly unfair that we can't embrace all sides.
Do you struggle with your sexuality in terms of how much sex you share on social media? Do you struggle with that?
Struggle with is
it's not a struggle.
It's not.
I
for
don't
you.
know. If I
Whether you
have a moment,
take the shirt off, give them what they want. Double tap.
if I'm feeling a little lusty, I'll let it fly.
It feels like for a guy, him taking off his shirt, and it feels like you maybe are putting yourself up to be judged in a way where it's like, oh, maybe he's vain.
For a woman,
Yes.
it's right. She's fast, or she's this type of person, or she doesn't have self-values, or self-worth, and it's like, okay, all of this just because this double standard or gender role. That they
and it's also
portray.
sometimes women can't win because as much as they try to cover up, it's like you're not fun enough, you're not outgoing enough.
She's boring. She's like a nun or something.
And you show too much, it's too revealing, she's too risque, she's asking for it. But I feel like what you said, it's about how you take it as an individual and what you feel is comfortable for you. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. If you like it, you like it.
Right? And I will double like it.
Well, I would love to know, and we would all love to know, what were your favorite parts of this episode?
I like punching him in the face. That was fun. I never got to do that before on camera, so it was fire.
What was my favorite part? I definitely It would have to be when Halle says, do I like what Smoke Purp is saying about doing weird stuff to my feet?
my second.
No. Will I do anything for my sister? Yes. Yeah, as funny as it is, I think it shows our relationship as sisters. And it's like, I'd do anything for you, no matter how uncomfortable it makes me. But I am kind of proud of Sky for standing up and being like, I don't feel comfortable with this.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, because it was mostly fun to film that line, because that line never did not get funny. And I have a really hard time holding in my laughs when I'm filming, so that was a good one.
I think for me, it was funny because it's one of the first scenes that we shot. Was when you were telling your sister that you were no longer on board. You both came out of that moment strong, because you were telling her what you didn't want, but you were also like, you know what, I'm gonna still do it, because it still makes sense to me. And rarely do you get to see like two women who are strong, who have opinions that conflict, be able to articulate it and be able to respect each other, even if they're angry, and not come off as like hysterical or emotional or whatever. I thought that was a really powerful moment in your relationship. I don't think we've seen you like separate that strongly in opinion before.
I love so many moments. I guess it would be the moment between Doug and Jazz, and when they finally both take their stand, because they're very sure about where they stand. I mean, they both know, I won't accept it. I'm gonna keep pushing forward. And I feel like in a lot of ways, women, especially young women in college relationships, I know I was guilty of it myself, you will bend or conform to please your mate. And I love the fact that, you can see that it hurts her, and you know she wants Doug to accept it. I think she still keeps going.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for joining me and joining us. There's a new episode of Grownish airing next week on Freeform, so make sure to tune in and then come join me on Grownish the Kickback.